Pulp Fiction is very confusing the first time you watch it. So why did Quentin Tarantino chose to confuse us? What's the purpose? First, it's confusing because it's not real time. Vince gets killed, then is alive after all in the ending. Second, traditional screenwriting says a story won't work without a clear, single main character, or else the audience gets confused of who to root for. Do we root for Vince, Mia, or Jules? And third, it's confusing because of the unnecessary dialogue that traditional screenwriting hates.
Royale with cheese.
Because you can delete that whole Royale with cheese conversation and cut straight to this hitman retrieving the suitcase and the story still works. So why did Quentin Tarantino choose to confuse us? What is the purpose? First, who's the main character? Vince, Mia, or Jules? In my opinion, it's Jules. He's the main character, and here's why. Jules always reads Ezekiel 25:17 to his victims to feel like he's God himself unleashing vengeance to the wicked.
When I lay my vengeance upon thee.
But this time, a guy fires at them.
Die, you mother!
But all 6 bullets missed. Later, in the diner, at the final scene, he realized that what happened was divine intervention. That God gave him a second chance to live. That's why he'll quit his job being a hitman and spend his second life walking the earth like Caine in Kung Fu. But his partner Vince thinks it's just a freak coincidence and quitting his job means becoming a bum. Then when Pumpkin tries to take the suitcase, Jules quotes Ezekiel 25:17 again, but this time as a man in a transitional period in his life. And he said,
"You're the weak and I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd."
Yeah. But here's what I missed the first time I watched it. Earlier, Jules took the suitcase and killed the guy who stole it. But he didn't have to kill the guy. He already got the suitcase. Ringo, however, deserves to die. But instead, Jules gave $1,500 of his personal money to buy Ringo's life, then let the criminal go. Why? Because when you walk the earth like Caine in Kung Fu, you don't need $1,500. It proves that Jules actually changed when he gave away all his money and lived like a bum. Jules is the main character because it actually follows traditional screenwriting that says the main character is the one who changes the most. Anyway, let's talk about Vince. He was given a second chance to live too. Whether it's by freak coincidence or divine intervention, it doesn't matter. He survived another day. But what does he do with his second life? He doesn't change after the ending scene at the diner. The next day or week, who knows, because this movie is not in real time, he was sent by Marcellus Wallace to kill Butch, but left his machine gun at the counter. And this time, there was no divine intervention. But here's another thing I missed the first time I watched it. It wasn't the first time Vince had divine intervention. First, 6 bullets missed. Second, Mia miraculously survived drug overdose. If she didn't, Marcellus Wallace would have killed Vince. Third, he accidentally shot a guy in the head on the highway. If it weren't for a freak coincidence or divine intervention, Vince and Jules would have already been arrested. Vince had 3 chances to change his ways, but he didn't. That's why he died. So the purpose of Quentin Tarantino confusing us is so we'll watch this movie again and again until we figure it out. And we're like, oh, right, that's why. As I've mentioned, the third reason why Pulp Fiction is confusing is because of the unnecessary dialogue. But it's to show the audience that these characters are real people, because real people don't talk like they talk in movies. Real people like us talk about mundane things with our friends. If Pulp Fiction was a normal movie, it'd be like, Vince, we need to retrieve the suitcase or Marcellus Wallace will kill us. Copy that. That's boring. We already know that if hitmen fail, it's a problem. So the Royale with Cheese conversation is about a hitman taking a vacation in Europe and coming back with stories to tell his friend. Vince may be a hitman, but he's just a normal person like any of us that needs a vacation from work once a year. If we cut straight to this hitmen being hitmen, then they're just ordinary hitmen we see in other movies. Like, you won't hear John Wick talk about what they call a quarter pounder of cheese in Morocco. That's bad. Quentin Tarantino has a purpose for these small talks. He wants his characters to be real and unique. And even if Royale with Cheese is unnecessary and confusing, it became the most memorable line in Pulp Fiction. Thanks for watching.